Hello and welcome back to the Perth to Paisley podcast, episode 108. Since we last saw you, we've ended our European adventure, had a pretty mental game at Tynecastle, and a whole lot more. So, of course, Daniel McIver, I'm here to speak about it, as ever joined by the wonderful Adam Kennedy. Adam, how are you doing? Why are you laughing at that introduction?
I think that's the first time I've ever been called wonderful.
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
thanks very much for that, mate. I'm all right. Can't really be arsed with this tonight, if I'm honest. I'd
You're in
imagine,
for a good one, folks.
I'd imagine that's what the majority of our squad will be saying tomorrow. Tomorrow at Ibrox, so it's a good laugh. How are you?
It's a great start. I'm in absolute agony.
Oh, what's happened?
So we will get into this more in the Motherwell game.
Oh God Almighty! Don't tell me this is because our last gasp celebration
No,
at home in Motherwell.
no. Basically, to give you a wee hint, I couldn't celebrate any of those goals.
Oh, nice.
I've absolutely done my back in.
Oh, you
It's
old man.
Yeah. So I've had problems with my back for a very long time, but this is the worst pain I've ever had. So YouTube viewers, if you see me moving about a lot, it's because occasionally my back will just spasm and I have to just power through it. So
So,
this is
did you
going to be
not even
great.
give it like the fists up to the sky or none of that?
I'll give a full description of what happened because it
Right.
involved multiple people.
Oh, please tell me you injured your back mid celebration.
No,
Please.
no, right. We'll get to that, but we've got a whole lot to speak about before then because there is actually another game to speak about. It feels like it was so long ago,
Yeah, it
but
does.
we did have our last game in the Europa Conference League.
It's
It
just
was
because
a
everybody is so glad to see the back of it. Sorry,
Yeah,
mate, to cut you
yeah.
off, but no, like, I no, like, what's the point in us discussing this game? Really, it's done.
We're not
But
really going to discuss it. We're just going
okay,
to say the highlights and basically that because it was 3:30. I was working, so didn't watch it because I was at work.
nice.
So yeah, it's great.
I
Great.
don't know. Like, you didn't ask me a question. You didn't ask if
No,
I watched it.
It was more
You
just
just
a
don't
statement.
care.
No,
All
I
right,
don't care.
okay.
I don't give a shit. Did you watch it live?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I've
Okay.
actually moved into a gaff down here with my missus, so we are getting everything set up, and
Nice.
that was our quote unquote reward on the Thursday afternoon. After 5 minutes, it felt like anything but a reward.
Well, the team that was put out for the reward was a team that had a bit of youth in kind of running through the middle of it because Robin Nielsen clearly went, well, this is pointless. This doesn't mean anything. The Motherwell game is the important one. So Hearts lined up in what the BBC is calling a 5-3-2. I don't
Interesting.
necessarily know if that is the case or what it was, but Gordon in goals, two fullbacks or wingbacks of Cochrane and Atkinson, with a three of Nielsen, Civic, and Smith, a three in the middle of the park of Connor Smith, Cammy Devlin, and George Grant, and then up front together, Henderson and Forrest.
Ah, yeah, I do remember this because I remember seeing, what was it, the BBC or somebody elsewhere either put it as a 3-5-1-1 or
Mm-hmm.
a 5-3-1-1,
Right.
depending on your viewpoint, which is practically what you said. The only alteration would be Alan Forrest in behind
Yeah.
Ewan Henderson alongside the three central midfielders. That I don't want to be too critical of the team here because do you know what? I actually do feel as though we performed pretty admirably in this
Mm-hmm.
game,
Yeah.
all things considered. But needless to say, had I forked out for flights, hotel, and all that jazz, and then I'm seeing you and Henderson start up front in Turkey, I would consider, handing my season ticket back in. It reeked of Jamie Mole in Athens to me.
You had to understand it and expect it, though. Like, it's a game
Yeah.
that we can't, it doesn't matter if we
Oh,
won 10 nil, it
and
wouldn't
look
change
now,
anything.
but in hindsight, now this is wonderful. Had we
Yeah.
not got the result on Sunday,
Yeah.
and let's be honest, we scraped the result on Sunday. But as much as we were great, we did scrape the result on Sunday. But yeah, look, I can't be too critical. The young lads, I thought, gave a really good account of themselves, as I'm sure that you'll no doubt get into.
Well, not immediately, because the
No.
first couple of highlights are not positives. 2 minutes in, Lax play in the middle of the park leads to a chance for Istanbul that kind of just whistles past the far post. And then 4 minutes in, which we seem to love doing in Europe.
Love an early concession.
We love a 4 minute concession. A corner's swung in and it's Hearts. So there's going to be a free header. And listen, I've made it very clear that I'm a big fan. I like a lot of modern football stuff with stats and all that. But I've also made it very clear in this podcast, the one modern thing I hate about modern football is zonal marking. Can we stop doing it?
Thank you. Hallelujah. Finally, we're on the same page here.
It's the most infuriating thing.
Shite.
And when you see that goal back, we're all in the 6-yard box, and all the Istanbul players are just 2 yards to the right of them. So it means that they've just got a free header, and we're already 1-0 down.
I realise that this episode may be unintentionally corner heavy, given the Motherwell game. But how annoying is that? I can't even think. Was anybody on the post as well? Just talking about defending corners generally. I'm not a fan of zonal marking. I much prefer man-to-man as somebody's held accountable, and rightly so. I think that's the way that it should be. And I'm also not a fan of having nobody on the posts, and I don't think that we have for a considerable amount of time now.
I can at least get the justification behind the posts thing. I disagree with it.
And to occupy somebody else.
And it means that you can, if you're on the posts, everybody in the opposition is on side at all times.
Yeah.
I still don't agree with it. I still would rather have people on the post.
Could you not drop into the post as the corner's being taken?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's what you should do.
I don't think it's going to be a lot of distance to make up. If say a corner's floated in, you've then probably got that little bit more leeway in terms of time. Whereas if it's whipped in a bit of pace, albeit your task is trickier to then get back into position, i.e. on the post. But I'm not a fan, and we've got some big boys. That's what really annoys me, McIver, with the concession of goals from set pieces.
Kind of.
Granted, look, if you took the 3 central defenders here, 2 of them are fullbacks. So
yeah, I think only Civic's above 6 foot in the team that started.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, just generally.
Oh yeah, generally.
Of course. This is what's apparent, and something that we've talked about for weeks on end. What feels like months on end. What feels like years on end. One of them came back at the weekend. Great to see that. And we're just waiting on Craig Halkett, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just it's amazing what a bit of experience, leadership.
Height
and a general commanding presence does for you at the back. We've had that this season, last season, and prior to that, not a heck of a lot. So yeah.
Well, then there was a moment of positivity because only a couple of minutes later, Cochrane plays a great ball into Ewan Henderson, who can't quite put his effort goalwards. Then a few seconds later, it actually ends up at him on the edge of the box, and he fires well over the bar. But then kind of led to a half an hour period of just we actually were doing not bad. We weren't creating many clear-cut opportunities, but we weren't conceding many clear-cut opportunities in that time as well.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The main plus for me was that we actually tried to take the game to them to an extent. This was a big game for Istanbul, which actually...
Yeah, it meant something for them.
Exactly. They had to win it in order to occupy top spot, albeit now we're out of the Europa Conference. Didn't have a look at the draw. Don't really care.
Yeah, they got Braga. Fiorentina got Braga, I think.
Oh, that's quite a tasty tie. But I didn't check any others. But they had to win this game, was my point, to try and get a favourable or a tie that is deemed favourable in the next round. I actually thought as though this is probably the most encouraged I've been by a Robbie quote-unquote setup for a while, because he obviously prioritised the Motherwell match, like you say. He's just thought, to hell with this. Like, let's just go and have some fun. You know, like when Leicester won the Premier League and everybody was sort of guessing as to how they'd do in the Champions League. because they had no real European experience. It's sort of a bit like that. Like, there's no real expectations, so what happens, happens.
Go
We're
for it.
already out. We knew that we were coming to Istanbul with absolutely nothing to play for. Third was secured. We couldn't go any higher, couldn't go any lower. So whatever happened, happened. And to be honest, it actually was really encouraging.
Then it all went to pot because a long
Because we're
ball,
Hearts.
a long ball gets played over the top, and Gordon decides in that moment to rush out and try and clear it. He does actually get there first.
Oh, God, I forgot about this goal.
He does actually get there first, and he does actually clear it. Unfortunately, he clears it onto the on-rushing player, which just immediately hits the Istanbul player. The other Istanbul player just kind of runs onto it. There's basically an empty net. Toby Sivic's there, but like, there's not much you can do. And we're 2-0 down.
We are. And I think even... Was it Rory Hamilton doing the game for BT? I think he even said against the run of play.
Yes, I think he did.
Which
says
again,
everything, really.
It speaks volumes. We're gonna. Do we want to talk about Craig Gordon now? Because
no, let's wait until the.
I think the other match is just really sad, isn't it?
I don't think it's as doom and gloom as everybody else is making out.
Okay, interesting. No, we'll come to that then. But he's definitely at fault here. And
I can understand what he's doing, but it's still the wrong thing to do.
And you know what? It's actually remarkable how much he lives rent-free in Celtic fans' heads. Because I was getting abused left, right, and centre.
I think it's more issue.
No, because you've interrupted and you're now you've basically just ruined my entire story. But my Celtic fan mates say in person to me, "Oh, what about Craig Gordon costing you against Istanbul?" It's not really costing us against Istanbul. As we've stated many a time, this was a meaningless game. This is the perfect game for him to make an error that is as big as that in.
Very true.
See? So, shut up your pipe and smoke it.
I was going to say, that still doesn't change my point. I still think Celtic fans speak to you about it because you have been very quick to point out.
And in fairness, I'm not having Joe Hart personally, so
that's what I mean.
It's great. I just honestly, me and Celtic fans have a great rapport on Twitter. We're really close knit. It's a good bunch. I definitely don't cry into my pillow every night when they're abusing me.
I don't understand how you can be bothered putting that way. Anyway, speaking about Gordon, he actually makes a great double save from Bertrand Traore here.
Yes, he does.
So that was really good. And then nothing happens until the 54th minute in the second half. The game kind of was dead at that point. I think Istanbul knew that the points were safe. They fire well over from the edge of the box, then put another free header just past the post from a corner, and then 10 minutes later, the points are very much sealed up as they get their third. Gordon throws it to Cochrane in a really weird position with a lot of pace.
Pass.
Yeah.
Hospital pass.
It then means that Cochrane can't control it properly, which allows Istanbul, you get it, break in numbers and score. A lot of people were blaming Cochrane, and obviously he has to shoulder at least half the blame because, he does miscontrol it. But I feel like it was just a really poor option to give it to him, especially in the way it was given to him.
Yeah, totally. I think if we are rolling it out, it needs to be a fraction of that pace that it is. Like you say. And do you know what? What I do love about Alex Cochrane, first and foremost, is that he doesn't try and shy away from any responsibility. He never hides. He never sort of passes the buck on to somebody else. When in fairness here, this isn't his fault again. So he's just... I mean, I know that you absolutely adore him.
We'll get to him later. We'll absolutely get to him later.
He's top, isn't he? Really, really good. One of the best buys that the club's made in a good few seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to finish it off with a positive, we actually
a big positive,
very big positive in multiple ways.
Yes.
Right at the very end, 90th minute, we claw one back as a ball's kind of played up towards the corner flag generally, and the substitute, Finlay Pollock, clearly this was an opportunity for him to show something, and he definitely didn't waste it, because fantastic pressure, fantastic hassling of the Istanbul defender, manages to nick it off him, play it inside into the box for Shankland, who kind of hits it as he's spinning in a weird way.
I was gutted wee Finlay Pollock didn't get an assist because that would have been really, really nice.
That would have been amazing. The ball kind of cannons off the keeper, and Atkinson is there to calmly pass it in the net. Since I don't count his appearance against Fiorentina because he only got 4 minutes, that's technically, at that point, Atkinson had scored 2 and 2. Because the Kelly game was his last game.
Was that his last game?
Yeah, Kelly. Then he got hurt.
That feels like a lifetime ago.
It's crazy.
It really does. So Michael Smith's been filling in ever since that. Wow.
And we played like Nielsen and Sibic together in like a weird combination and stuff as well.
I feel as though this month's just been an illumination that's just
been insane.
By.
Yeah, it's
honestly.
been insane.
I'm just relieved to get. I need this World Cup break. We all do. Oh,
sorry, I've just as we're recording
breaking news.
Livingston have went 2-0 up against Aberdeen.
Wow.
Sorry, not from Easter Road. It's still 0-0 there.
That's disappointing. But wow.
Yeah.
Crying out loud, Livy. What a job David Martindale's doing, but we'll come to that.
This is before Aberdeen overturn it and it finishes 3-2.
Sorry, Livy. Sorry. What were we talking about before that?
We were speaking about how long this month has been because we're playing 85
Nathaniel
games.
Atkinson, yeah. Would have loved to have known what price you'd have got for Nathaniel Atkinson being our last goal scorer in Europe this season. I think you'd have probably got the keys to the Ladbrokes, the Willie Hill, and numerous others in and around the Gorky area, and just every single Turkish bookmaker would have given you the keys to a shop. But do you know what? It was nice. I hoped that the fans had something to celebrate because, by all accounts, I don't think it was a particularly nice trip off the field.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
Certainly, according to the old Twitter sphere, that's all alleged. But do you know what? Fair play, because they look like they had a blast nonetheless. Yeah. I was a little bit envious. I can't lie, but do you know what? This Europe malarkey, it actually was a great time. All in all, the club didn't disgrace ourselves. The fans were tremendous. We won the games that we were expected to win. We lost the games that we expected to lose. So
made a load of money in the process.
Made a load of dough. So life's good. We've got the hunger for Europe now. Hopefully, now our attention's turned back onto the domestic scene with only the league and Scottish Cup to come and participate in. We can try and make European football a reality again next season. That'd be smashing.
Well, to do that, we need to finish third. And in our attempt to do that, Motherwell travelled to Tynecastle at the weekend.
Segue. Are you not going to go around the grounds first, no?
Yes, I am. The segue was about to be seamless. We're going to fight again. Everybody focused on that last week and really enjoyed it.
You can tell I'm tired. I'm just getting ratty in recent weeks. I need a break from this podcast. I need a break from Hearts.
I'll get Richard called back on with his new dog.
He's begging it again today. What is wrong with that guy?
Wee dog is class, though, in fairness.
Oh, the photo of his dog is
hilarious. Excellent. Anyway, around the grounds, because it was actually quite an eventful week in Scottish football.
Glorious weekend of Cinch.
I don't know how common this will have occurred, where there was 3 days of action because 2 games were played each day. And on each day, there was a 3-2 game. Found that quite interesting. Because...
Oh my God, so there was. County St Mirren was the Saturday, yeah. I was thinking about that, sorry.
So, on Friday night, Killie were doing quite well against Livingston before falling to their 3-2 loss. Hilariously, Aberdeen beat Hibs 4-1 in some of the funniest VAR escapades that we've seen thus far on the Friday night. Then, the next day, Ross County, they were the 3-2 as they got a massive home win, to be honest, against St Mirren, who are doing very well this season. Then Celtic left it late, but they managed to get it done as they beat Dundee United 4-2 with more VAR fun there. And then the early kickoff on Sunday was the biggest result of the weekend as St Johnstone at home managed to beat Rangers 2-1.
Oh, I thought you were going to touch on the game at Tynecastle then when you said the biggest result of the weekend.
For us, yes, but in terms of what it
Okay.
could mean for people's employment, it
Well,
could
I
be
wonder what you're
eventually.
alluding to there, Mr. McIver.
So, what did you make of all the games over the weekend?
Do you know what, mate? Our league's in just a great place. Like honest to God,
I swear you flip flop on this all the time. You're either like, well, it's the worst league in the world, or it's the best.
no, last season I was adamant it was shite, but this season, like everybody's kind of good, and it makes for a nice league. Like even the Friday night, Aberdeen blowing Hibs away was hilarious. That is never a 4-1 game in a million
It's
years.
not. It's not at all.
And Livingston, like we touched on David Martindale briefly. What a job he is doing.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to see Livingston finish top six. I really
So
wouldn't.
weirdly, today my dad actually sent me the league table if it was for 2022.
I saw this and they're in third,
They're third ahead of us.
albeit we had meaningless fixtures and were shite after the split, as we so often
Yeah.
are.
And they,
But
because the split necessitates they had easier games.
perceived easier
Yeah.
games. But there's absolutely no getting away from the fact that they were probably robbed of the top six last year.
Yep, they were.
And will definitely feel as though that could be a reality. It's funny how things like that seem to prompt teams or sort of kick teams into gear the following season. They use that not to feel sorry for themselves, because I don't think Davy Martindale is that type of character either, but he sort of uses that as motivation to right the previous wrongs. And I'm a big fan of Martindale and the job that he's doing at Livingston. There you
Definitely.
go. As for the Saturday, you were spot on. Massive win for Ross County, particularly given that neither of their fixtures prior to the World Cup break are particularly appealing. So I actually think that could be a much bigger win than it looks on paper. St Mirren as well. I cannot work them out. They're shit hot at Paisley, but they're pish on the road. Like, I think I did some research ahead of either the midweek games or the games at the weekend. Only Killie have fewer points on the road than St Mirren, and yet St Mirren are in that vicinity of like third, fourth, fifth, and whatever. So it just goes to show that they've been brilliant in Renfrewshire, but not on their travels. The other Saturday, Celtic Dundee United left it late. I could not believe that when I saw that United had equalised in the 87th minute or something like that.
Yeah.
You get the impression with Celtic that no matter how doom and gloom it appears, they are just going to find a way.
Yeah.
Like they are going to win the league. I know it's early calling it in November, but let's just be honest. This Rangers team are supposedly in disarray, and that was proven by their defeat in Perth. The first time since 2010 they've lost in Perth.
Really?
I mean, they have a brilliant record in Perth.
They have the reverse record
of us.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Wow.
I think it's something like 15 attempts for St Johnstone, which is just insane.
Fair play to them for sticking by Callum Davidson, by the way. Proved to be correct.
They have, and again, like they're up to sixth. I was chatting to Ryan McGowan today, and he's very optimistic about what can be achieved. So, like I say, like I was writing the cards for St Johnstone. I was writing the cards for Ross County prior to the weekend. Now I'm not sure whether Ross County will stay up or not. I still don't know. And St Johnstone could be the ones to gate crash top six at potentially Livingston's expense, or Motherwell's expense, or Hibs' expense, or Aberdeen's expense. Honest to God. Crazy league, and ours was a crazy game.
Yeah, exactly. Our game kind of had everything. Now, the team was, of course, different as Robbie had rested people. So as opposed to the 5-3-2, 5-3-1-1, 3-5-1-1, whatever it was.
5 changes.
I think there was 6 changes. I can't remember exactly, but we lined up in a 4-1-4-1 that Robbie has actually kind of went with the last couple of weeks, which is interesting. Gordon in goals, a back four of Halliday at left back, Smith at right back, Civic and Cochrane as the two centre halves, Devlin as the one, and then a four of Mackay wide left, Gino wide right, Grant and Snodgrass in the kind of 8s / Grant a wee bit further forward in a 10, Snodgrass dropping deeper, and then Shankland up front. How did you like the look of that when you first saw it? And also, I actually want to mention this, because it's the first time it's happened this season, basically. We actually had a bench. because Keogh
That was
probably
the big thing for me.
Keogh probably feels remiss that he got dropped after his performance against Ross County, where he was fantastic. Atkinson was back in, Forrest, Nielsen, Henderson, Smith, Clark, Pollock stayed on the bench, and the biggest news was that Kai Rolls was back in the squad, and we'll speak about him later. But that was amazing to see. But yeah, what did you think of the team that was selected?
Again, totally echo your thoughts regarding the bench. I was then going to ask you who would Keogh come in for, because I think if Robbie had started Cammy Devlin, Robert Snodgrass, and Keogh McSorley, that looks a bit negative. So he's probably expected George Grant to be amongst those that create chances, i.e. late runs into the box or look to provide for anybody else. Albeit that went out the window after 35 minutes. But as you say, looked good. I had no qualms with the team whatsoever. My only concern at the minute is there's two players in my eyes that are droppable, but the management and coaching team don't seem to think so.
I think I can guess the two.
Yes.
Are they Craig Gordon and Barry Mackay?
They are. They
right.
are, yeah.
We'll speak about Gordon.
But I'd love to get your thoughts, obviously.
We'll speak about Gordon now, because I understand it. And this game, I think, showed I was going to say the good and the bad, but I think it did actually show more good about Craig Gordon. But
no, it did. The good and the bad would have been suffice.
I think more good, though, because of an incident that we'll get to where I think he is in the right.
I think good, yeah, because of that, the incident I think that you're referring to, and in fairness, a cracking save in the later stages.
A match-winning save.
Yeah.
But I do get the points about Gordon, and I'm just a bit less worried about it. I think because of the level of backup we have now, where I'm I'm not stressed about it anymore like I was last season.
Whereas previously it would have been absolutely papping our pants. We were dreading of thinking of Heart Midlothian without Craig Gordon last season. And due to the squad building that's taken place, albeit it's only one position, it's only one candidate to fill a position, that speaks volumes about just how we're progressing, or seem to be progressing year on year, which is great to see.
Barry Mackay, I think, needs time out of the team.
Yeah, totally agree. He's been, honest to God, I was at uni today, and one of the boys in my class, Ewan, shout out to Ewan. He's a big Motherwell fan. He made the trip through on Sunday, and we were speaking briefly about Barry Mackay, and he actually forgot that Barry Mackay was even playing. And I said, well, that's been the case for weeks, stroke months. So ever since he equalled last season's goal tally and there was talk of a Scotland call-up, he's genuinely gone missing. That's why I dubbed him a midfield magician, because he is disappearing in plain sight. Honest to God, what is happening?
Yeah, I just think, again, I understand why Nielsen isn't dropping him, because the belief will be he is of such a level of quality where he could just have a game where he gets 3 assists. And then that turns everything round. But
is there such a disparity in quality between he and... I know they're totally different players, don't get me wrong, but he and Alan Forrest, say. I think Alan Forrest and Josh Ginnelly running at fullbacks is terrifying.
It changes the game plan.
And in fairness, they're both chalk on the boots types.
Yeah.
Whereas Mackay likes to drift in, he might try pick that pass. But let's be honest, Mackay, he's not done that for a good few weeks now.
No. Although he technically did it in this game, albeit with a lot of luck.
He got lucky. Come on.
No, absolutely.
I'm one to champion the Barry Mackay signing, as you well know. But even I'm laying the boot into him. That's how much he's fallen off.
I think the break will do him a world of good, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I hope so. And I think we're off. Are we off to Spain? Is that what the rumours to be believed?
I think that's where we're going.
So just soak up some rays, Barry, and find your boots once more, because this has not been good enough for a wee while. I'm sorry to say.
Now, 2 things I need to say before we speak about this game. The first thing is Hearts TV. The highlights didn't have the times for any of the highlights that I'm going to say. So I have the times for the major moments, but for most of it, just like generic stuff where like we had chances, I have no idea when it was.
Can I ask you a question? Do you only watch Hearts TV highlights?
In what sense?
Do you watch Sports Scene as well? Would you
I watch
catch it on
Sports Scene as well.
YouTube or all right, okay.
Yeah, I watch Sports Scene as well. But when I'm doing my notes, I just watch Hearts TV.
Because of the times makes it easy, doesn't
it?
Yeah. Big up Hearts TV.
Secondly, this is where the back comes into it. I actually missed the first 5 minutes because I was actually getting a lift with my dad and my brother, and we were late in. We parked at maybe 20 to 3, and the walk is normally 8 minutes. It took me 20 because I was in such levels of pain.
Where do you park?
It's like, it's hard to explain where it is.
8-minute walk.
Yeah, like up.
Is it by our Millen Way? I've seen you along there before.
Yes, roughly around there. Aye. So it's not a long walk, but it took me a long time.
Oh dear.
So basically, I missed the first 5 or so minutes. So apologies if I'm glossing over something massive that happened in the first 5 minutes.
I can't think of anything major that happened within the first 5 minutes.
But
we might have won a corner or two, maybe had a shot at goal, but nothing too exciting.
Well, this is the problem with the coincidence of Hearts TV not having the times. I don't know when what I'm about to say starts. I don't know when this first highlight is, but we start strongly as Snodgrass plays in Mackay, who cuts in but ends up firing well over the bar.
That was early on, but I don't think it was 4 or 5 minutes.
And then from this moment, I can remember this. I don't remember the Mackay thing, but I remember this.
That's shocking. I'm sorry. I need this break.
It's fine. Snodgrass and Mackay link up before the former plays in Halliday, who fizzes it across the box, but there's no takers, unfortunately.
Good ball, that. I was just begging for Lauren Shanklin to be in that 6-yard box. Couple yards, and all he's got to do is get a touch on it. But nice build-up and a lovely ball in from Halliday.
Kevin Van Veen fires wide from a Motherwell free kick. Kind of the biggest chance up until this point. A long ball over the top finds Gino, who plays it across to Shankland, who kind of can't get the ball properly out his feet. He kind of hits his knee and his chest.
Ah, yeah, I do remember that.
And then eventually hits it, but Kelly's right in front of him and manages to save it. Very unlucky, but he was in the right place. It was a good ball again by Gino. It's what you want to see, really.
Was that before his dink, or was that the dink?
Yeah, no, this was before.
Yeah. Because the dink was probably a harder chance. He probably executes that better.
Oh, no, it is that. That is that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Because like you say, it's bouncing about. Aye, yeah. God, I'm all over the place. Let's just can this tonight. We don't like nobody wants this. Like nobody cares.
Yeah, they do. The game was class.
The game was class.
We get a corner, and it's swung in from Snodgrass. It's met by Shankland, but can't get the power properly on it, as Liam Kelly claims it.
Sorry, can I stop you right there?
Yes.
Go and repeat that the exact same way that you said that.
Corner swung in from Snodgrass, which is met by Shankland, but he can't properly get the power on it.
Which is met. Wow. What a novelty.
Yeah.
Which is met by a Hearts player. How good, let's just talk about it now. How good is Robert Snodgrass's delivery? How good is it to have somebody that can deliver a set piece? A dead ball specialist that isn't Stephen Kingsley.
We bought George Grant for his corners.
Goodness gracious me.
We bought George Grant for his corners.
I'm yet to see a decent one.
And they've all been terrible. And then it turns out Snodgrass is just kind of quietly coming through the door. Just be like, by the way, I'm classic corners.
Oh my. Oh, honestly, it would bring a tear to a glass eye. It really would.
Fully
3 assists already for Snoddy. What a player.
Yes, very true. Speaking of Snodgrass, he was very influential in this half especially. He plays Halliday in behind, but Halliday ends up hitting his shot well over the bar. Van Veen fires wide from the edge of the box. Mistake from Kelly, which was probably the biggest chance out with the Shankland dink. There's a weird bit of mistake between Kelly and his defence, and Kelly just fires the ball straight up into the air. Shankland then kind of bullies.
Can you believe we didn't score? Well, I could believe that we didn't score this.
It falls to Devlin. The one person you don't want in this situation. Shankland is screaming for it on the penalty spot. Devlin hits it, and it's not a bad effort in fairness. It's quite a good save at Kelly, but he does have the whole go to it, and then it comes back to him, and he does that Cammy Devlin thing of getting really excited, so just goes over the ball and fires it well over the bar.
Is this the one where Lawrence Shanklin turns and he just shoves his arm up and just points and is screaming at Cammy Devlin?
Yes, it is.
Oh, brilliant. That is exactly what I want to see from a centre forward, because he's got every right to moan. How we do not score this, I do not know.
Nah, no idea.
All it needs is just a simple slide along. Shanklin's virtually got an open goal, and we still just find a way to screw it up. It is truly remarkable.
It's what we love about Devlin. He's desperate to get a tiny goal.
It's what we love about Devlin. It's what we love about Hearts. Like, honest to God, we must just be the worst counter-attacking team on the planet. How we don't score that again? But it's not a 3.
Ross County have went 1-0 up against Hibernian as we currently speak. Again, that will not be the case by the end.
No way.
Hibs will come back, but it's just interesting considering the league position.
George Harmon, that boy, is that the left back?
Yeah.
He was very good at the weekend as well.
Yeah, he was. Fair play to him. Let's sign him. Now, all our best players are left back.
Yeah, if he can play on the right,
True.
maybe.
True.
But, yeah.
Well, I've got a time for this one because this was the biggest moment of the game to this point. Now, I'll say this on the 38th minute. I actually thought George Grant was having one of his best performances for us. He didn't do a lot, but he was involved a lot. He was often the hockey assist, as you say. Like, he would give it to Snodgrass, and then Snodgrass would play a great ball in. And Grant did a few turns and stuff like that. Then, in I've described it as foolish move. I wasn't actually looking because I was turning my head to speak to my brother, and I just saw my brother's eyes widen suddenly and heard the crowd go, and I was like, right, I've missed something. And I turn and I see Kevin Clancy give George Grant his marching orders. Now, there's been contention about this. As we sit here, we are about 3 hours removed from being told that the appeal of this red card has been dismissed. He's not getting appealed. He will now serve a 2-game suspension. So basically, he won't play again until after the World Cup. First of all, do you think it's a red card? And second of all, what do you make of his decision to do it, even if you don't think it's a red card?
It is a red card.
I agree.
In my opinion. I think the intent is there. I don't think his studs are necessarily high, and that isn't necessarily shown in the replays. However, it's the pace that he goes in at.
Yeah.
And is there an intention to win the ball? There must be, because if you're going in like that at 0-0 and there isn't, that's just sheer stupidity.
Yeah.
But we've seen this from George Grant in you-know-which game.
And he should have been sent off against Aberdeen at Pittodrie as well. We got away with that, and I saw a lot of Aberdeen fans after the tweet came out.
At the far side.
Far side, yes.
Yes, I do remember that now.
I saw a lot of Aberdeen fans in the last couple of hours kind of laughing at this, being like, good karma and stuff like that. So yes, he's been sent off twice now in important games and should have been sent off in a further one.
Had more red cards than he's done noteworthy other things for me. I mean, he added one of the 4 against Dundee United. Great.
Oh yeah, he did.
But other than that, I say it all the time to my pals, I'm yet to be won over.
And stuff like this isn't doing him any favours, because I saw in the week he had an interview with the Evening News and he said he was frustrated at his lack of game time, but he understands it because of the squad, but he wants to be playing more. And it's like, well, you need to take your chance, and that's not that. I'm
thinking, am I being too harsh there? Because in fairness, in Riga, he was quite good. He was busting out step overs. He was.
I feel like that's all I can ever remember though, when he does
but other than that, exactly, that's about it.
Yeah. But anyway,
I mean, that's not worth the couple $100,000 that we've paid, is it?
That's the thing. That is always the thing. If it's perhaps not fair, and at times I think it isn't fair, but when players come for money, fans
Of
hold them at a
course,
higher
of course.
expectation.
You're looking for justification as to why you forked out the money for the player in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what managers and heads of recruitment are based on.
Yeah, definitely.
So the jury is certainly still out for me. And look, if you compare, I sort of loosely compared the two there when you were mouthing off about corners. Robert Snodgrass has done far more on a free than George Grant has.
Yeah, that's
for
very true.
Considerable dough.
I would
So
agree with that.
we've got every right to question that.
Well, speaking about Robert Snodgrass and corners, I'm almost annoyed, right? I'm almost annoyed. Because this man's been here for 3 years, and why are we just now putting him in the box? We could have won the league last year.
This is Lee McCulloch's fault.
Yes, exactly, Jig, with your teeth. What are they doing, mate? Because Robert Snodgrass whips in a corner from the main stand side, and it's met by it's almost a carbon copy of last week's goal against Ross County, but it's somehow even better as Andy Halliday hits a looping effort. It manages to go over everybody, but dip just in time. You could not get a better time to score, especially, never mind the timing in terms of it's just about to be half-time, but we've also just went down to 10 men. Andy Halliday now has 4 goals in 4 games. He's played in as more than double that in terms of positions in those 4 games. What's happening?
I don't know. It's just... I wanted this signing, but not even I saw this coming. Do you know what I mean? Like he's just exceeded my expectations completely. I would have expected form like this in the Championship.
Yes.
Like how? What happens? I was speaking to a good Rangers mate of mine, Div, and he reckons that because of the lack of pre-season that Andy Halliday in the Championship, the fact he joined late, obviously hadn't kicked the ball in ages, he was always playing catch-up. And then last season in the Premiership, he was solid, albeit was filling in here and there, filling gaps. Since he's had an extended run in the team, he's been sensational. And I don't say that lightly. So maybe it is just game time, feeling fully fit. He's probably inspired by the likes of Robert Snodgrass, who he'd have played with at Livingston before. I think Robert Snodgrass and having the stellar career that he's had is no coincidence. So I don't know if he's taken stuff on board from other pros, but he's in a fine vein of form. And it's testament to him. Spoke about the header in comparison to the Ross County one. James McFadden agrees with you. He reckons that this was a better header than the one that he scored up in Dingwall. And he and Snodgrass, I mean, it's like Roberto Carlos and Ronaldinho down that left-hand side, isn't it?
I can't believe on Snodgrass, I can't believe his fitness.
Oh, for what, 35?
Yeah, it's crazy. But
absolute caviar.
This is where the story comes in. So I couldn't celebrate this. So the ball goes in and everyone jumps up. And I just had to sit and go, yeah, and clap. I couldn't move. I just had to punch the air like I'm 85 and it's one of my last few games. But
leaning up on your stick trying to get a wee
I couldn't even get that far. Literally just because I realised because I wasn't reacting to a lot of stuff in terms of like when Shankland had that chance, everybody else gets up around you and I'm just like, well, I'm not seeing what's happening here. I realised that the people around us who don't have season tickets and just buy tickets might think I'm a Motherwell fan. So I made it from roughly the half an hour mark. I made a conscious decision to really applaud whenever we did anything good.
Nice.
It's like, because if I'm getting the shit kicked out of me, I can't do it like this with my back. I'll die. Like,
so
that's it.
So out of interest, were you booing the George Grant Red passionately as a Motherwell fan or a Hearts fan?
Yeah, exactly. That's why that was the moment I was like, oh wait, folk are going to think like
my cover's blown.
Everybody else was up on their feet raging at Clancy and I'm sat down and I was like, this looks like I'm celebrating.
This is class. Oh dear.
And then couldn't get up for the next thing because as soon as the second half starts, Halliday just keeps going and gets his second. Devlin plays a ball over the top to Ginnelly, who whips it in like he just now seems to go, right, my main job is just whip a ball in. It's taken them 3 years.
What's happened to Josh Ginnelly?
I don't know, but I'll absolutely
How good has he
take it.
been as well in recent weeks? Like, what's going on
I don't know what's
here?
happened. I really don't know what's happened. No takers for that, unfortunately. It ends up with Barry Mackay, who, as I said earlier when we were speaking about him, feeds it through to Halliday, but with quite a fair bit of luck. The ball has momentum, and Halliday just runs in like he's Shankland and just perfectly finds the bottom far corner. Everybody in the stadium except Daniel McIver jump up. I just fist bump through my seat and applaud politely. But it's 2-0 and we're down to 10 men still.
It's either that or they think that you're still on this Halliday hater bandwagon.
Yes. Yeah, I'm that committed to the hatred that I won't even
never celebrate
a double.
when he scores. Yeah. Have you ever seen the Nike advert, The Switch?
Yes.
And they have the accident when they bump into one another. I'm starting to convince that's Barry Mackay and Josh Ginnelly. Really? What on earth has happened here? Genuinely.
I thought you were going to say Barry Mackay and Andy Halliday.
No, because it's a fantastic initial ball in. We do well to rescue it. Andy Halliday just comes on up like a steam train. And what a finish. Honest to God, I can't believe what I'm witnessing.
I've not thought about that advert.
Genuinely though, this is only bumped heads and they just swapped abilities.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, I was so critical of Robbie last year. Now I'm starting to believe the bloke's a miracle worker. I see the development in players. Honestly, don't bother shelling out on anybody else. Just develop what you've got and we'll be world beaters.
Yeah.
But great goal. And it was very similar. I know, albeit he's a little bit more centrally than the one that he scored in the derby. He loves that bottom corner to the keeper's left at the Gorgie as well. And obviously, speaking about the Gorgie, I also did ask him about the Gorgie Ultras and what his thoughts were with regards to the drum and so on. Mr. Halliday's a fan, so can't wait to see that develop. And if he continues to play like that, then I don't think we'll need the Ultra section. I think the entire stadium will be applauding week on week. So, yeah, great goal. 2-0 up. Can't believe it, in all honesty, given that we're down to 10 men. And it doesn't look like we've got a numerical disadvantage at all, up until a certain point.
Yeah. So Shankland shoots from the halfway line because the keeper's out.
That was not said certain point.
No.
Yeah.
But it's over the bar. Van Veen tamely shoots from the edge of the box into Gordon. And then...
Whoa, hold on. You're as well just unleashing your thoughts about Kevin Van Veen now.
No, we've got a moment coming up.
Yeah. Sorry, I realised as soon as I said it. Go on.
Yeah. However, on the hour mark, it all goes to shit. Because...
Of course it does. It's going so well. It's going swimmingly. Everybody's comfy. And we just do what we do.
A ball bobbles through to Louis Moult, who's appended by Gordon in the box. There's a lot of debate about, is it a penalty?
Yes.
VAR gets involved. Did Gordon get a touch? Should it be a second yellow?
Yes.
All this patter. Regardless, it's a penalty. Moult scores it. A moment happens after the penalty that is my favourite moment in the game. But I'll speak about that in a minute. I'll speak about it in a minute. You think it's a second yellow?
Yeah. Well,
it's not.
I don't think the first yellow is a yellow.
No, of course.
But I think the challenge in itself is probably a yellow.
It's not because of the double jeopardy rule.
What's the double jeopardy rule?
So it came in last year for double yellows in the box. So now, if it's not a goal-scoring opportunity, which it wasn't because Gordon's touch takes it out of play, it's going straight out of play, Moult can't control it, and there's two defenders coming back, it means that it cannot be a second yellow because Gordon has made an attempt for the ball. While you're talking, I want to get the exact quote.
Yeah, hold on a second. How then can he give the penalty if it's not denying a goal-scoring opportunity? Is it for a perceived foul?
He still just fouls them.
So it's for the perceived foul.
Yeah,
but surely anywhere in the box is likely to be deemed a goal-scoring opportunity, no?
No, that's not how it works. You can foul somebody in the box
within reason. I mean, he's racing through.
But it's to do with where the ball. It's to do with where the ball goes after the contact.
So where the ball ends up.
The ball flies out of the pitch. like it's going out. So if
I thought your
Gordon,
argument would be about sufficient cover or the fact that we're still, we're chasing Louis Moult down.
so
But
this is the rule. There's now a yellow card equivalent of double jeopardy, which means if you attempt to play the ball but give away a penalty, it is a yellow. If it's a goal scoring opportunity, but if it's not a goal scoring opportunity, which Louis Moult isn't due to where the ball goes, no card is given otherwise. It doesn't matter if they're already booked or not. It's the same logic as players not getting sent off if they give away a penalty, not wanting a double punishment.
So in essence, because he's not in possession of the ball and it's veered off to the side, that's why
he doesn't get a second yellow. If the ball had just stayed in the direction of the goal, or if it's viewed that Moult, if Gordon hadn't made that challenge, if Moult would have been able to get that off, then it would have been a second yellow.
Okay, so if Craig Gordon hadn't been booked in the first
half, it would have been
half,
a yellow card.
It would, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yes,
you deem it to be a yellow card because it is a yellow card offence if he brings him down.
But that's where the double jeopardy
because he does foul.
Off.
In my opinion, doesn't win the ball. So
he does get a touch in it though.
So isn't it funny how we're perhaps fortunate that he was protesting about George Grant's innocence? George Grant is perceived not to be innocent by the disciplinary panel, and yet Craig Gordon's booking was ultimately for nothing, but it comes to our benefit later on.
It's exactly why.
Do you know what I mean?
It's exactly why Jens didn't get sent off against us 2 weeks ago when he gave away the foul, because Devlin, in the process of falling, the ball went out of play, so Devlin would have had no chance to be able to actually do anything with it.
I mean, you'd have thought as an aspiring sports journalist, I would have done my research.
No, I'm not letting you put yourself down like that. Ball. Do you know who should know that, though? The Sports Sound panel, who spent half an hour speaking about how ridiculous it is, and then when the rule was presented to them, they just went, "Oh well, it's ridiculous." It's
I'm only learning to be.
You're on Perth to Paisley, mate.
Yeah.
You're not on Sports Sound.
Whoa.
Listen, we've got a good audience. We don't have a nationwide audience
yet, so get subscribing.
We'll be there. Yes, my favourite moment comes. So I don't think you'll have seen the film Man of Steel.
I haven't.
So it's a Henry Cavill Superman film, and in it, right at the start, he's having to pretend he doesn't have any powers, and he's working in a bar, and a man is harassing a waitress. So he goes up to them and goes, "Stop doing this." And the man turns and pushes Clark Kent. But because he's Superman, he doesn't even move. The guy just rebounds back off him. That was what I thought of when Louis Moult sends Alex Cochrane flying into the net. Then as he's running past with the ball, he kind of shoulder barges Craig Gordon. He then turns and is just met by Toby Sibbick, where he kind of rebounds and then goes, "Oh wait, this guy's huge," and then calmly walks away. That was incredible. Well in, Toby. Just going, you might be able to deal with wee Alex Cochrane, but no with me.
Sit down, dickhead. Honestly, we're going down many a rabbit hole here with the Switch. Superman.
Toby Sibbick is the Man of Steel.
This show is exactly why we don't have a nationwide audience.
Exactly.
Toby Sibbick is a Man of Steel against the Steel Men. There you are.
See, boom.
Have some of that. Oh, now it's definitely going to have to be called Man of Steel, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's what I was hoping for. I've been planning this point for 2 days, hoping that we'd get Man of Steel out of the title, and we have. Get in.
I was hoping for coefficient carriers, and we could wind up a load of Celtic fans, as I like to do.
You do that enough
and
yourself.
Rangers fans.
Yeah. Right.
I might just stick out a nonsense tweet despite our loss to Istanbul. See what happens.
Great. I'm having no part in that. Speaking about individuals who do nothing towards their teams, Kevin Van Veen scores a goal that's offside, and it's really funny.
Here we go.
It's so
funny. It's an absolute worldie.
It is, but it means nothing because he's offside a mile. He has a full-on tantrum. He picks up the corner flag and chucks it down the frustration.
In fairness, I was having a tantrum as well. Don't get me wrong, but that was hilarious.
Has he ever played well against us ever?
You're not having him, are you?
I'm not at all. I'm not at all. It's fine when you're playing your Ross counties and your teams like that. But like, I think he's got 1-6 against us, and the one was a penalty.
I couldn't even. I genuinely didn't even think they'd scored. Just checking, yeah, it is half time and Ross County are still 1-up. Oh, Aberdeen have missed a penalty at Livingston.
Speaking about penalties, it's all happening.
Wow. Oh, it's seamless, this. It really is.
Yeah, listen, I'm sure he's good for Motherwell when I'm not watching, right? Because they can't be that obsessed with him for no reason.
Sorry, this was after Livingston were awarded a penalty earlier in the game, courtesy of a VAR check. Oh, it's really all happening here.
You're missing it
God
all.
bless the Cinch. This is premium Scottish football.
But yeah, I found it funny how much he celebrated and then had a full-on tantrum that it was...
Chucks down the corner flag.
It was so funny. But then, Motherwell did equalise. Because the ball's played out and then it was received to who I felt was Motherwell's best player on the day. McKinstry plays it really well. He's very good. That boy. Very good. Plays the ball into the box. It's met by Blair Spittle equalise. It's 2-2. We've got 10 men, thrown away a 2-goal lead. And I'll be honest, at this point, I was thinking, we're going to get beat here.
Yeah, they were riding the crest of a wave. They were in the ascendancy. They'd come back from 2 down, had that goal chopped off. I like Blair Spittle as a player as well, but this goal is far too easy for my liking. And again, it was showing that we were a man down. The second half really did pass us by after Halliday's goal, and until the last couple minutes, really. Well, I really did believe that. I don't know. It's such a funny game, a really crazy game.
I think it's just because we're so tired and we've got 10 men.
And we're having to work that little bit harder, exactly. Yeah, the numerical disadvantage, probably.
But then, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Alex Cochrane, who is... In my opinion, it's between him, Devlin, and probably because of his goal scoring Shankland for player of the season thus far.
You're Devlin in that high, are you?
Yeah, definitely. Especially because
for the European
games, he was the best player in every game.
He was the best player in Europe by a country mile.
Yeah. Cochrane just
gets the ball. On the domestic scene, though.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll have no complaints from me. Gets the ball and just it was weird. It just kind of opened up for him. He just kept running.
He's not usually the one to advance, particularly given that Andy Halliday's goal was obviously in that second half in the exact heading towards the same goal. Again, the ball that he actually whips in has got potential, but needless to say, we don't see its full potential, Mr. McIver, do we?
Because inexplicably, Sondre Johansson just goes, I'll have that, and just grabs it out the air and immediately does that face off. Oh no. Why have I done that? And yeah, we get the penalty. I will say, because of the time it took, I was able to get myself up to stand and watch the penalty.
Nice. Oh, that's good.
In that moment,
did you have your Zimmer frame? Did somebody supply you with one of those?
Gary Wales did, because in that moment, I turned and was like, I can't watch this. I made eye contact with Gary Wales, and Gary, for audio listeners, did a sugly hand motion like, oh, what's going to happen? As if I didn't have nerves enough, Gary. Right?
Oh, thanks for that, Gaz.
But Warren Shankland steps up, gets his goal. He's 11th of the season, 11 goals and 2 assists in 22 games. Incredible.
Is that not 12 for the season?
12 goals, 2 assists, 22 games.
Just keep me right, mate.
6 out of 6 penalties scored, because the retake one technically didn't count in the laws of the game, because it had to be retake, so we don't count it.
I did hear that on Sports Sounds. No, Sports Scene rather. Yeah. So yeah, nice. Like that you've lifted that.
We just have someone who I feel confident whenever they get a penalty.
I'm glad you said it, not me, because everybody knows I've been banging the Shankland drum for a long, long time. Is he? No. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to put him in that same bracket. It's far too early. Let's just move on. But yeah, feel really confident when he steps up, and had absolutely no doubt that would be the match winner. My number 9, Bagsman.
I just have one more point. In the 91st minute, Kai Rolls came back into the side. He came on.
Great to see.
To a massive ovation, and 2 stats here. One, Kai Rolls came on, and in the 3 minutes he was on the park, He went up for 3 aerial duels and won all 3.
No surprise.
Oh,
So
yeah.
literally
Someone
what we
can win a
said
defensive
earlier. I know.
header.
This is great. What a time to be alive.
And then Alex Cochrane made a challenge that the
Oh,
stands celebrated like a goal.
absolutely Terry. This is exactly what I mean. Wee Cochrane just loves a fight. I'm back. I'd probably pick him if I had a
There's so
Hearts
much.
player that had to defend my life. It'd be Alex Cochrane,
Yeah.
without a shadow of a doubt. I reckon he would take on every bouncer at a nightclub in Edinburgh. He's just always. I noticed even his rage towards Kevin Clancy as
It's
well.
so fun. That offside goal, he's
Oh,
just going mental
brilliant.
at him.
There's one where I can literally see him. I'm watching his lips, trying to read his lips, and I think it's like, how can you not see that? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, honest to God, love that guy. Hero. Absolute hero.
And a huge win. Can I just say, how bad are Motherwell that they concede 3 goals against 10 men?
Yeah, I mean, conceding 3 goals to what, 10 men, you've got the numerical advantage for 50 plus minutes, 52 minutes or whatever.
62 minutes.
No,
No. When
52.
did they get sent off?
38, did you
38.
say? Aye,
38,
yeah,
yeah.
52.
Yeah.
Um, but Stevie Hamill, to be fair to him, I mean, we praise Hamill Ball every week,
Mm-hmm.
and Hamill Ball was not in full flow, but he didn't put that down to anything other than Hearts being quite good and Motherwell being pretty poor for the most part. So, do you know what? No excuses were made. I've got to admire that, and thankfully, we did a number on his team to earn a morale boosting win.
And we'll take that morale boosted win to Ibrox.
Yay! A Rangers team in disarray that need a morale boosting win themselves. And who are the side that play them next up? Heart of Midlothian Football Club.
It's us.
What
Now,
a buzz.
obviously, this is coming out a few hours before we play. So I imagine a lot of you will end up listening to this after we've been battered at Ibrox. So we'll mainly focus on the upcoming Livingston game. But before we do,
Nice.
What is your score prediction for tonight as this is recorded? Tomorrow night, sorry, as this is recorded.
2-1. I'm not going to say who for.
Okay, just 2-1 generally.
2-1 to somebody.
I'm going 4-1 Rangers.
Nice.
Hey, we'll score and it'll be class. It'll be
At least we're both agreed that we'll score.
Yes,
at least
exactly.
one.
At least one. Hey. However, yes, the last game before we break for a month, 5 weeks actually, Livingston at home. We're in the programme.
Yes,
That's
we
class.
are. That is class.
So, big fan.
Maybe get to see our ugly mugs. Well, my ugly mug in the programme.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
That's not what anybody wants.
No. But I didn't want to say it to you. But
I know. Sorry if the programme sales do take a dip parts. That's my doing. Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, Livingston, high flying Livingston, who as I speak are still 2-1 ahead. That would be a third penalty in the Aberdeen game.
At least they've tucked it away this time.
Yes. But yeah, so currently they will be ahead of us as we go into this game if unless there's big changes tomorrow night.
But the incentive to overtake them, unless we're already ahead of them.
So many different permutations.
That's what happens when you record midweek and there's midweek matches. Honestly, I hate a midweek game now. I used to love it when it was wee because you're blown away by Tiny and the lights and everything looks great. And now in terms of scheduling, I'm like, this is an absolute bastard. You spend your weekend literally. I don't want to be looking at Kilmarnock starting 11 on a Saturday night and going, oh, do you know what? I wonder what changes Derek McInnes will make for the following week. Honestly.
Regardless, how do you think we'll get on?
We'll beat Livingston. Confidence is key. That's why I've said
they're high flying.
Yeah. I'd like to think we are too. Maybe we are after a win at Ibrox.
We're going to be saying this as we've been beaten 8-0 as a marker's been laid down.
Alfredo Morelos will have been subbed on and grabbed all 8, and that will be his season tally because he just loves scoring against us.
Kent will have his one good game a year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, you're going with a win for Livingston. What is your score?
That's really boring if I say 2-1 again.
You're
3-1 Hearts.
3-1.
3-1.
Interesting. I'm going to go with 2-1 us.
Nice and boring.
Yep, that's us. But yeah, we will see what happens. However, now we have the quiz. I've just really hurt my back as I did that for the visual.
You are an old man.
I am indeed. Anyway,
but I look forward to the quiz. I always do.
We've got the quiz. So
here we go. You've not set this up great because you've belittled the quiz this afternoon, sending me this message. So I'm really worried as to how this will go.
I've said I don't know how it's going to go, listeners. So this could be interesting. So as usual, we've got the multiple choice, true or false, who am I, and 2 others. And we're starting with the multiple choice.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Lawrence Shankland currently has 12 goals in 22 games for Hearts. But by this point last season, how many goals did he have for Beershot? Is it A2, B3, C4, or D5? Ouch. It's shit, whatever it is, and shows how good he's been since he arrived.
I'm going to go 2.
You're going with A2. You're incorrect. The answer is B3.
Asshole.
He technically had 4, but that's because one of them was an own goal.
Oh,
but that doesn't count, obviously. We're just speaking there about travelling to Ibrox. But in what minute last season did Craig Halkett score his equaliser at Ibrox? You were there.
I was
you were
there.
present. I want the exact minute.
Was it the 89th?
He's 1 minute off. It was the 90th. Oh! He's missed it by seconds.
So annoying.
He's 0 for 2. Can he make it?
Hold on a second. On a technicality here. Does it say...
No.
You know what I'm going to say.
No.
No seconds to 1 is the worst.
It was no. In no way have you got
that. Okay.
Can he make it 1 for 3 with the true or false? The question Adam is famously great at.
Yeah, a 50-50 chance. I still fuck it up.
So, true or false? Rolls, Devlin and Atkinson, as we've said, will be at the World Cup this winter. But this is the second time Hearts have had 3 or more players represent the club at an international tournament. True or false?
Oh, what a great question.
The second time. Not the first or not more than 2. This is the second time.
The second time.
3 or more players.
What, the same nation or just different nations?
No, different nations. We've had 3 players there.
Why did I ask that? I could have appealed that toward the end, but I got it wrong.
You now have even more clarification.
I've still got the exact same chance of getting it right, and I inevitably won't. I will say, I'm going to say true.
You're going true. He's 0 for 3. It's false.
I was literally going to say that, but you tricked me into saying no every single time. So I thought for once he's going to go yes.
This is the first time.
Like, why did I think that this would be the second time? I was trying to scramble my brain. Stop falling for McIver's mind games.
Right. As you're 0 for 3.
This is the first donut.
As you're 0 for 3, I'm going to give you... Oh my God, Ross County have just scored again. They're 2-0 up.
No way. Oh, that is tremendous.
Right, that might change. Anyway, I'm going to be even more good news for you, Adam. I'm going to give you leeway with this question.
Right, okay.
So, Andy Halliday has been in fine form this season, especially in recent weeks. No. But how many appearances has he now made for Hearts? If you get it within 5 appearances, I'll give you it. So you can have it 5. If you guess 5 above or 5 below, I'll give you the point.
It's got to be a round figure. Otherwise, this is the most random question of all time.
I wanted to get an Andy Halliday question in because I feel like he's been that good.
Let's think about this logically. He joined the Championship late. I would estimate he'd have around 30 odd there. bit part last season. 50, maybe, if he's got another 20 games on top of that. And this season, we've played a plethora of games. He's probably been at the heart the most. I've got 65 in my head. I'm going to go for 65.
So if it's between 60 and 70, he's got it. He's 0 for 4 as it's 87.
Has he played 87 games?
87 games.
Really?
Yep. Second most appearances for any club in his career.
Honestly, 87 games?
According to Transfermarkt, 87 games.
Did not think it was as many as that.
Right, well, in a historic first, you're 0 for 4 going into the Who Am I?
This is the donut. This is a big fat
There
donut.
could be a chance we
This
have our
quiz
first
has been
ever...
an absolute disaster. I've literally just been mugged off by your skull.
We could have, ladies and gentlemen, the first time where someone gets 0 for 5.
We are. We just definitely
but
are. I'm
knowing,
going to make it nigh on fucking impossible next week.
Knowing Adam, he'll get this Who Am I? He'll get none of the questions.
Oh, what I would give to get this. You don't understand.
I represented 15 clubs in my career, but only made more than 50 appearances at 2 of them. In my first 3 seasons in senior football, I scored 20 goals in 17 starts. I've played in Scotland, England, Cyprus, and Thailand, and I am related to a famous Scottish musician. Who am I?
What? Thailand? Who plays in Thailand? 15 clubs?
Yeah. You've got your 2 questions.
This player must be a centre forward with that record. That is unbelievable. 20 goals in 17 starts, did you say?
In his first 3 years of professional football.
Oh, first 3. Yeah, no. Yeah. More goals than games. He's got to be a centre forward. McIver, would you do me the honour of informing me each and every one this man's 15 clubs? Please.
So this is where I think you're going to immediately get it.
Right.
Because I realised I did all this, and then I decided to look at the clubs and went, oh, that's quite easy. So we'll see.
Don't say this. Don't say this.
So, Celtic, Birmingham, Ipswich, Portsmouth, Dundee, Wigan, Sheff Wed, Rotherham, Hearts, Dunfermline, Rotherham, Killie, Ionosis Neon, Esan United, Livingston.
What a yucky array of clubs. Celtic, Birmingham,
Ipswich, Portsmouth, Dundee, Wigan, Sheff Wed, Rotherham, us, Dunfermline, Rotherham again, Killie, Ionosis Neon, Esan United, and Livingston.
Nothing's popping into my head, mate.
You've got one other question, and would you like the clues again?
Celtic, Birmingham, Ipswich, Pompey. Who have we ever had that's played for Portsmouth previously?
You've still got another question.
A former Celtic youth, presumably.
Is that your question?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to ask... No, that's a wasted question. Is it?
I don't know unless you ask
it. I'm going to ask, what nationality is this player?
This individual is Scottish.
Such a wasted question.
I can give you the clues again if you want.
Yeah, please.
I represented 15 clubs in my career, but only made more than 50 appearances at 2 of those clubs. In my first 3 seasons in senior football, I scored 20 goals in 17 starts. I played in Scotland, England, Cyprus, and Thailand, and I am related to a famous Scottish musician.
Can you give me the clubs again, please?
Yes.
Nobody's popping in my head.
Celtic, Birmingham, Ipswich, Portsmouth, Dundee, Wigan, Sheff Wed, Rotherham, Hearts, Dunfermline, Rotherham again, Killie, Ionosis Neon, Esan United, Livingston.
Don't have a clue. Don't have a clue.
Don't do what you did with Ruben Palazuelos. You need to give a name.
No, but nobody's popping into my head. Like I genuinely cannot think of anybody. Celtic, Birmingham, Ipswich, Portsmouth,
Rotherham twice,
Dundee, Rotherham twice, Wigan,
Killie,
Sheffield Wednesday, Killie,
Livingston. Ionosis Neon and Esan United as well, the heavy hitters that they are.
Yeah, I know all of it then.
Yep.
See, somebody like a Craig B would pop into my head, but he's not represented half those clubs. It doesn't make any sense. Portsmouth.
Yep.
Scottish, presumably a centre forward.
He is indeed Scottish.
I don't have the foggiest. I honestly have no idea. Am I going to kick myself here?
I don't know, actually. I'll be intrigued to see your reaction.
Well, I'm going to kick myself because I'm 0 for 5 in the quiz, so that's embarrassing.
But imagine if you pull it out the bag here with a name.
Yeah, but nobody's coming to mind.
I almost want you to, because it'll be the best moment of this show ever.
Oh, it'll be unbelievable. Think, Adam, think. Celtic, Birmingham, Ipswich.
We're doing this again. Right, I'm going to need a name.
Don't fucking rush me, mate.
Been on it there for 6 minutes.
Oh, this is haunting. No, I can't think of a single soul.
Are you giving up, or are you going to say
Livingston and Killie? I don't know. About Celtic. Give up. No idea.
He's given up. There is no name provided. The Who Am I this week was Mark Burchill.
We never got that.
Now,
never got that. I don't know if that was a little bit before my time.
So,
maybe.
I feel like your
when did Mark Burchill play for us?
2005.
No, don't remember that.
So,
I don't remember him. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't remember him playing.
I assumed your question was going to be, when did he play for us? And it was going to be interesting because he was literally only at us for a season.
Exactly.
He was only at us for a season.
When they got that. Who are the clubs that he played over 50 games for?
Celtic, where he played 50. And Dunfermline. He played 85 times. Even across...
85... Like, Andy Halliday's played more for Hearts than Mark Burchill played for Dunfermline, the club that he played for the most throughout his entire career.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Andy Halliday doesn't have 15 clubs, in fairness. The musician that he's related to is Charlie Burchill, the guitarist out of Simple Minds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's his dad's cousin.
Oh, nice.
Also, in my first 3 seasons in senior football, I scored 20 goals and 17 starts. There was also 33 sub-appearances in there, but it didn't tell me how many... It didn't say... The stat was just Burchill scored 20 goals and 17 starts for Celtic, and in the brackets, 33 sub-appearances. So I don't know how many of the goals came in the sub-appearances.
Oh, well. No matter.
Well, historic moment as someone has went 0 for 5.
You just knew it was me as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, mate. Just my head's up my arse. Don't care. Too much going on.
It's been a journey. It's been a journey this week, but we hope
In
you have
fairness,
enjoyed it.
that quiz was bloody horrendous as well.
It's the fact that you kept missing, like you got the true or
The
false wrong
Shankland one.
again.
The Shankland one
The
haunts me.
Shankland one, you're off by a yard. The Halkett one, you're off by a minute.
Like, come on.
It's literally...
Come on.
You're off by one goal,
That's the
1
harshest
minute.
0 for 5
A
ever.
50-50. Welcome to how I feel when you ask me to get 12 players right, and if I did get all 12, I get no points. Welcome to my world.
It's got to be harsh, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Mark Balcho.
Yeah.
We hope you have enjoyed. Let us know if you managed to get Mark Burchill from those clues. But yes, it's been a long one. We hope you have enjoyed. You're probably listening to this as the 5th rattles in at Ibrox, but hopefully we're more entertainment. And if we are, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. It massively helps us out. If you're watching us on YouTube and you've been enjoying me being in pain with my back, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment. We're at Perth to Paisley on all forms of social media. We're also perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. Adam, where can they get you on social media?
They can get me on all the socials at Adam T. Kendo, where I will be waxing lyrical about the illustrious career of Mark Burchill. What about yourself?
I'm at DMcIver22. We'll be back next week for what is probably going to be the last episode in a while due to the World Cup coming, and we don't really know what's happening.
Unless
there might be something.
Special guest.
There might be something.
You never know.
We don't know, but we hope you'll enjoy us, and we'll be speaking about the probably inevitable loss against Rangers, the hopeful win against Livingston, and anything else that happens in between then. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Come on the horse!